It's Monday morning. You sit down at your desk, open your laptop, and the red bubble on your inbox glares back at you. 187 unread emails. Before you even type your first reply, a heavy wave of exhaustion settles in. It's not that you are lazy or unwilling. It is that something inside already feels drained, like your energy has been used up before the day has even begun. We often confuse stress with burnout, but they are not the same thing. Stress feels like being overloaded with too many tabs open in your brain at once and too much to juggle. Burnout is different. Burnout feels like there is nothing left. It is the moment your battery is so depleted that even a night of sleep does not recharge it. Imagine plugging in your phone overnight, only to wake up and see the battery stuck at 1%. That is burnout. The World Health Organization calls burnout an occupational phenomenon, and researchers Emily and Amelia Nagoski, in their groundbreaking book, Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, describe it as what happens when we do not complete the stress cycle. Stress builds up, your body prepares for action, but in modern life there is often no release, no closure. Over time, that unfinished cycle grinds your system down. This is not a personal weakness. It is not that you are incapable or broken. It is biology doing exactly what it was designed to do, but in an environment it was not designed for. The first step toward recovery is understanding what is really happening inside your mind and body when burnout takes hold. Burnout has a shape. Psychologists, most notably the researcher Christina Maslach, describe it in 3 dimensions. The first is exhaustion, that bone-deep fatigue where even small tasks feel overwhelming. The second is cynicism, where your work or responsibilities that once gave you purpose now feel meaningless or frustrating. The third is inefficacy, the creeping sense that no matter how hard you try, you are not making progress. When these three combine, you get the full weight of burnout. It is important to separate stress from burnout. Stress is like carrying too many grocery bags at once. It is heavy, uncomfortable, and demanding, but it is temporary. Burnout is different. Burnout is when you have been carrying those bags for so long that your arms finally give out. It is not about the number of tasks on your plate. It is about the long-term depletion of your nervous system. The World Health Organization classifies burnout as an occupational phenomenon, not as a personal failing. Researchers Emily and Amelia Nagoski remind us that the real issue is the incomplete stress cycle. Stress is supposed to move through the body, activating and then resolving. When that cycle never completes, your system becomes stuck in survival mode. This cycle is often more difficult for women to complete due to cultural pressures that demand emotional and energetic giving without adequate time for recovery. Here is the reframe. Burnout is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is a predictable biological and psychological process. Your brain is not broken. It is running survival software on a loop, trying to keep you alive in an environment it was not designed to handle. That shift in perspective is powerful, because once you see burnout as a system response, you can begin to work with it, rather than blame yourself for it. To understand burnout, we need to look at what is happening inside the brain and body. Neuroscientists call it allostatic load, which means the wear and tear your system carries from chronic stress. Imagine a car engine left running non-stop. At first it hums along, but over time parts overheat and begin to break down. Burnout is the human version of that constant strain. One of the first casualties is the prefrontal cortex, often described as the CEO of the brain. This region handles decision-making, focus, and self-control. When stress hormones remain elevated, the prefrontal cortex tires out. It is like a CEO trapped in endless back-to-back meetings who eventually walks out of the office. That is why burnout often shows up as brain fog, forgetfulness, or the inability to plan clearly. Meanwhile, The amygdala, the brain's internal alarm system, becomes hyperactive. It is like a smoke detector that goes off for burnt toast as if it were a house fire. With this constant alarm, your body stays in survival mode, which drains energy reserves even further. Normally, the brain's networks share information in a seamless loop. During burnout, those connections weaken and break down. Under burnout, those connections fray. The experience feels like trying to download a file with weak Wi-Fi. Progress stalls, and nothing seems to load properly. Psychologists have also described this through the effort recovery theory. It shows that recovery is not something that happens only on vacations or long breaks. The brain and body need small, daily periods of restoration. Without them, the stress cycle stays incomplete and the pressure compounds. Some researchers even compare burnout cycles to patterns seen in addiction, where temporary relief is followed by relapse into the same draining loop. Seen this way, burnout is not a mystery. It is the predictable outcome of biology under unrelenting strain. But the same science also points toward solutions. If we can reduce allostatic load, restore prefrontal function, and complete the stress cycle, recovery is not only possible, it is expected. Science explains why burnout happens, but what matters most is how to recover. That is where the Renew protocol comes in. Think of it as a three-button reset for the brain's operating system: recharge, reframe, and rebuild. Step 1. Recharge foundations. Recovery starts with energy, and energy requires rhythm. The effort recovery theory reminds us that the brain cannot simply push indefinitely. It needs daily recovery blocks. That means building in micro breaks throughout the day, creating log-off rituals in the evening, and protecting restorative sleep. Even a 20-minute walk away from screens completes part of the stress cycle described by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. Recharge is not indulgence. It is maintenance. The same way charging your phone keeps it alive. Step 2. Reframe and retrain thinking. Burnout often carries shame, the quiet voice that says, "I should be stronger." But cognitive behavioral therapy research shows that how we frame our thoughts changes our outcomes. Reframing burnout as a stress response instead of a personal flaw restores a sense of agency. One exercise is to catch self-critical thoughts and restate them as observations. Instead of, "I am failing," try, "This is my body telling me it needs a break." Step 3. Rebuild boundaries and purpose. The final step is structural. Burnout does not resolve if your environment keeps demanding more than you can give. Rebuilding means setting non-negotiable boundaries, like phone-free zones or defined work hours. It also means reconnecting with purpose. Research shows that meaning buffers stress. Clarifying your core values and aligning daily actions with them transforms burnout from a trap into a turning point. The Renew protocol is not abstract. Each piece is grounded in science: physical recovery through daily movement, emotional recovery through social connection, and cognitive recovery through reframing. It integrates the Nagoski sisters' idea of completing the stress cycle and adds structure so it can be practiced daily. Burnout is not fixed by a single vacation or a motivational speech. It requires a system that you can repeat, one that restores energy, reshapes thought patterns, and rebuilds boundaries. With the Renew protocol, you move from depletion to renewal step by step. Recovery from burnout is not a one-time reset. It is more like a consistent workout routine. The daily act of showing up may seem small, but it's where true strength compounds and lasts. To make renewal last, you need a maintenance plan. Let's call this the 5-point integrity check. Change your life, not just your schedule. True recovery requires shifts in how you live, not just temporary breaks. Practice honesty with yourself. Notice when exhaustion is creeping back in instead of pushing it aside. Ask for help. Burnout thrives in isolation. Support from colleagues, friends, or professionals lightens the load. Prioritize self-care as a necessity. Sleep, exercise, and social connection are not extras. They are biological requirements. Do not bend the rules that protect your energy. Boundaries are only as strong as your consistency. One simple strategy is the never miss twice rule. If you skip a recovery habit, like your morning walk or journaling, that is normal. But do not skip it 2 days in a row. This prevents small lapses from snowballing into relapse. Designing your environment also matters. Placing guardrails like phone-free zones at home, consistent sleep routines, and clear work cutoff times acts to reduce the need for willpower and make healthy recovery easier. Burnout is not a personal flaw or a mystery. It is a predictable signal, a sign not of weakness, but of chronic strain in a system that needs care. It cannot be erased overnight. It is managed with steady, repeatable practices. You now have the Renew Protocol, a science-based framework for restoring energy and clarity. With a maintenance plan in place, it becomes not just a rescue plan, but a lifestyle shift that protects your clarity for the long haul. Remember what Emily and Amelia Nagoski teach. Stress is a cycle, and cycles must be completed. Renewal comes when that cycle is honored, not ignored. Most importantly, setbacks will happen. What matters is how you respond. Shame locks you back into the cycle. Compassion keeps you moving forward. Each time you recommit, you strengthen resilience. If you take away only one thing, let it be this. Burnout is not permanent. Your nervous system can reset. Your energy can return. Your clarity can grow stronger than before.